Whether you are buying or selling a home, navigating the real estate market can be a real challenge. So where do you turn to? A friend, colleague, maybe your cell phone? I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, and joining me today on Networked is Aubrey Ahlberg, a Windermere Real Estate Agent with a passion for helping individuals accomplish their real estate goals. Aubrey is going to share her unique approach to social media and how she's using those platforms to better market, educate, and make real estate fun for buyers and sellers across the region. Her savvy social media skills have created a real following on online platforms, and it's reaching people not only in our region, but across the state. Don't go away. We'll be right back on the air with Aubrey from Windermere Real Estate. And welcome to Networked. I'm excited to introduce our guest for today's show, Aubrey Ahlberg with Windermere Real Estate. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to sit down. This is going to be a really fun episode because you've got some hilarious social media clips that we're going to share later. But before we get into that, I would love for our audience to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah. So I actually grew up coming to Wenatchee. So my grandparents lived here. My aunt and uncle lived here. I always thought that Leavenworth was the North Pole as a little kid. Every time we would come over the mountains.
It is kind of a magical Christmas.
Magical place.
Yes.
And summers were awesome because it was so hot here in the water and everything. But I moved here about 12 years ago after college because this is where my parents moved and I was trying to figure out my next steps. And so Wenatchee became my home, long story short.
And you're in real estate, so fast forward now. But have you been in real estate the past 12 years?
No, so I actually, good question. So I actually was in the service industry for a while I was here going to school. I was a manager at Dutch Bros Coffee, which was just one of the coolest jobs. I got to know so many people, worked at a couple different restaurants, and I also coached skiing up at Mission Ridge and coached basketball for a little while. So,
when did you start the real estate journey?
So it was about 4 years ago, maybe 4.5. My mom called me and basically she was just raving about being a realtor. She was loving it. She'd only been in it for about 6 months. And that's kind of what got me
I think we have a really
hooked.
Great photo of your mom and you. So we'll share that on screen. I love this.
Yeah.
So followed in the footsteps of your mom.
Yes, I got to be on a team with her.
Okay.
She actually passed away about 1.5 years ago.
I'm so sorry for
that. But before that, I got 2 joyful years of working with her and getting to build memories. And I mean, she was my mentor, not only through my childhood, obviously, but in my career. So I feel really blessed to have had that.
That's really, really special.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why do you love real estate? Yeah.
Oh man, it's so funny because I never thought I'd be a realtor because I was so worried about being salesy and pushy and that old school sales mentality. But what I've come to find out is that it's all about relationships. It's about getting to know people. It's about building trust and helping people through what can be the most exciting or possibly the hardest move of their lives. And so I feel really honored to work with just incredible clients and build those relationships. And it's a challenge. I love a challenge. And my days are never the same. So,
well, having a service background and working with people all the time, I'm sure it really prepared you too for being able to interact with just about anyone. Once you can do it in the service industry.
Sure. Oh my gosh. Exactly. And it's hilarious how quickly I bond with my people. And they really become family. It's awesome. So
talk a little bit about Windermere and where's kind of like your service area. So are you selling homes just in Wenatchee or where?
So
where are your buyers and sellers?
Good question. So Wenatchee is an interesting community because we're so spread out and there's all this countryside around us. I try to stick to about an hour and a half radius around Wenatchee. Anything longer than that, I feel like I can't quite serve my clients how I'd like to. But the cool thing about the Windermere family is that we actually have an incredible referral network. So if I can't help a client, then somebody else can, which is awesome. So I just make a phone call and somebody I know and trust will take care of it.
Yeah. So they're looking to go further up north, up the Okanagan. You guys are able to come in and help.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, being in real estate is also very entrepreneurial, right? You've got a foundation. Talk a little bit about what it is to run your own business.
Wow. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome opportunity for me to learn and grow as a person, because it requires, I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, no one's clocking me in. I'm responsible for waking up every day and jumping on my computer and answering emails and making phone calls and all that. And I honestly, I feel like I have grown so much in that aspect of having time management and that self-motivation and learning, because everybody's going to do it different. Every realtor is going to make their business different. And so I feel like I've learned a lot about how I like to do things, and I've kind of honed in on who I want to be as a realtor. And that's been a really cool experience.
Tell me a little bit more about that. So what do you, what's unique about working, if someone is looking right now for a realtor, what would you say? There's so many great ones out there. Obviously, we've got an incredible community. What's your different edge, your different approach?
So I would say something that makes me really different is I take the time to set expectations with my clients. Like, we have multiple meetings before we even start looking at homes, because even if they bought a home before, this market, as we know, is so much different than it was 3 years ago. Writing offers is so much different than it was 3 years ago. And so setting the stage to help empower and educate them ahead of time makes a huge difference. And so, and then I just honestly, I have so much fun with my people, and they become like family to me. There's not a single client that I can think of who I'm not still in communication with and connected with. I mean, I give my clients golf passes and wild hockey ticket games and go to dinner with them. And I just had a great month last month where I probably had dinner in their homes that I helped them purchase with 6 different families. And I got to see how they've adjusted in their new homes, and just got to connect with them and bring them basically a real estate review, which shows them how much equity they've gained in their home since they bought it. So it's kind of like I don't know. I just love being authentic and treating people, like more than clients.
Your energy shines through, because I can see why your clients love working with you and building that relationship. We're going to talk a little bit later about your unique marketing approach and how you're using social media as a platform. But before we get there, I'd love to chat a little bit about some of your other passions, because I saw those in our notes about things like Special Olympics. So I want to circle back to that. You talked a little bit about coaching before real estate. Tell me about some of your passions outside of real estate.
You're hitting my heartstrings now. I got the opportunity this is actually what introduced me to the incredible Wenatchee community, is Special Olympic skiing. And my dad actually still coaches Special Olympic skiing up at Mission Ridge. But I got the opportunity to lead Young Life. I got the opportunity to coach this incredible 16-year-old skier. I actually coached little kids ski team for a little while, little 5-year-olds. Oh my gosh, it was such a hoot. And I honestly that is what made me fall in love with this valley. Because I mean, anyone who's up on top of Mission Ridge and looks down and isn't in love with this valley must be crazy, because we are just so incredibly blessed. And just all the opportunities there are to get involved with running or hiking, or I'm a mountain bike every week with this incredible group of girls. And it's just, I don't know. It's a small town that has so many things to do. And I love it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for, being a community leader and serving and helping others. We do have to head out to a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to dive a little bit more into marketing.
Awesome.
So stay tuned. Welcome back to Networked. We're here in the NCW Life studio today with Aubrey Ahlberg with Windermere Real Estate. So fun to learn about you, your passions, and your history in real estate in the first segment. But now we're going to get into another topic, marketing, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a really unique approach to marketing your business as a realtor, and then also homes. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I actually market primarily on social media. I don't put any of my marketing money into billboards or paid advertisements or, mailers. I pour my money into my clients. So I take my clients out to dinner. I buy them welcome home baskets. I get them tickets. I just really love on my people because I know that they'll be the boots on the ground to be able to market for me. And it's worked out really well for me. And then I focus on social media because it's free. It's free. It's fun. It's authentic. Yeah. And then that allows me to have, just the opportunity to be really real with people, and it fits kind of my personality the best.
And I think we're going to show a couple, maybe we'll start with a couple of these clips here.
I'm an artist, Mom. You can't rush an artist. I'm doing art, Mom. This is my craft.
So here,
oh my gosh,
you're taking some of those like TikTok trends and Facebook and Insta story trends into how you're staging houses, which is very engaging. It pulls people in.
Yeah. And it's so hilarious for me. I have so much fun doing it too, because I follow these incredible realtors on Instagram from all over the country, and they're doing similar things. And so it just, it gets me out of my shell. It helps that creative outlet, that I think so many of us have too. So, yeah.
Well, and when I think of real estate, I still think of that traditional like flyer on the side of the house. Those aren't even up anymore. They don't really put, or do they? Like,
no, they do.
Like a post and a flyer box. It's very different now, right? People aren't driving around picking up flyers. They're on their cell phone.
Exactly. And it's amazing because technology, Instagram, they have it all laid out for us. You see how many people view it. You have a direct line to all those people. It's amazing. And you can see, what flopped, what didn't. You can get engagement. People can ask you questions. I mean, it is all there for you, and it is all free. Like, a lot of people don't realize how simple it is. We just have to get over kind of that fear that comes with putting ourselves out there.
I was about to say, you're also, though, having to, like you said, be creative, maybe a little bit goofy or silly, which a lot of people are nervous, especially in a setting like on TV or in a video. So, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs, really in any field, about building a marketing campaign that way?
I was just thinking about this today. People are going to judge us no matter what we do. No matter what we do. So why not create a life that we love and create a persona that we are proud of and that we have fun doing? I mean, this life is so short that we might as well have fun with it and honestly not take ourselves too seriously. Yeah. Like, I think that for me, I know that some of the feedback that I've gotten is that people want somebody that they can relate to, somebody that they can feel like they almost know, and somebody that they can trust. And when you present yourself in that way on social media, and in a way that's authentic to you, if you're not goofy, don't be goofy. If that's weird for you, then don't do that. But being authentic to who you are, people love that. They don't want the glitz and the glam. All that is fading away. They want to see the real authentic representation of who you are.
And you talking about how it's about people, you work with clients. These are really big life decisions. Buying a home is often a 30-year commitment. It means it's at significant stages of life. And so having a trusted partner, I'm sure, is really important to them in that experience.
And I really take that seriously because a lot of the times I am people's counselor, and I am people's, sounding board for their emotions. I mean, it is a very emotional process. And so I think that I have people who they feel like they really know me when they start working with me just because they've been watching the videos on social media. And that makes things easier for me because I do really care. And breaking down those walls sometimes with people can be, it can be a hard process for a lot of people to trust,
I'm sure. And it's also a really hot and kind of hard real estate market too. So what have you seen this last year as far as availability and how fast sales are happening?
Yeah. So, I mean, houses are not staying on the market for longer than a week. And if they are, it's usually because they're overpriced or maybe there's something wrong with the house, or they're in a way higher price bracket. But yeah, I mean, we're just seeing it's basic supply and demand. We're seeing a lot of people coming from outside areas, but then also people who live here, who are realizing that they need to buy. And so there's not enough houses to keep up with the number of people that are moving here. So that's why prices are increasing. And Wenatchee's on the map, you know, and it's been on the map for a while, but I think especially with the millennial generation and with what's happened with COVID and with people beginning to work from home, they're like, no offense to the West Side, but why would I want to live in Seattle if I'm working from home and I could live anywhere?
Right.
This was never my forever home. I don't want to live here, you know? And so then they start branching out to these beautiful areas, and I can't blame them. Wenatchee's amazing.
Well, you said it earlier, that view from Mission Ridge.
Yeah. How can you not?
Yeah, you can't beat it. So tell me, how does someone, you know, get a competitive edge? You talked a little bit about meeting with people even before they're ready to really start looking. What advice do you have? You know, I want to buy in a year. Do I find a realtor now?
Yes.
Okay.
If you are even on the horizon of wanting to buy, if that's even in your, in the back of your mind, in your long-term goals, start talking to a realtor and start talking to a lender. And specifically a lender, even sometimes before a realtor, you don't necessarily have to get completely pre-approved and have them pull your credit, but open that conversation, because they're going to be able to tell you what things you need to pay off, where maybe your credit score should be. Oftentimes people don't realize that they need to have a certain paper trail that goes with their employment to even get a loan for a house. And so if people don't do that early enough, then by the time that they're ready to buy, they may have a bunch of stuff that they may need to do that could take a year to even be ready to buy. So
you don't want to wait till the house you've been eyeing puts a for sale sign up, because it might be too late.
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah. But if it most likely is too late, because the pre-approval process can take a little while to get that letter and to get, depending on what your portfolio is. But
But once they get that foundation, then when do they start working with you?
So I will meet with people and talk to them about the home buying process as soon as they want me to. I do not actually show homes until people are pre-approved, because I don't want to get their hopes up. I don't want to show them a home that they end up finding out that they can't afford, or they can only afford a lower priced home. That's really hard for people. And so I want them to be able to get their ducks in a row, because it's a lot less stressful and a lot less emotional for them once they kind of know.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, like, what a heartbreak to walk through and say, no, this wouldn't be accessible for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And early in my career, I didn't really know. I was still kind of feeling things out, and I had a hard time confronting people about that. And now it's just a part of my standards of practice, because I know what a difference it makes for people to be prepared, and having gone through a first-time homebuyers class or talk to me about the home buying process. And then they feel like pros. People will start telling me what the next step is. Yeah. They'll be like, so next we're going to do a home inspection, right? And I'm like, you got it. It's awesome. So,
well, now let's flip that to the seller side.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for sellers? It's been a hot market. You know, when do they evaluate the best time to make that move?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, especially right now with the way that the seller's market is going, it's always a good time to sell. But I would say there's a couple things. I do something on Wednesdays called What's My Home Worth Wednesdays.
Oh, tell me about this.
I ask people for and I just started doing this, but I ask people for their addresses, and the first 5 people to send me addresses, I will send them a free market analysis by the end of the day. So Wednesdays are a busy day, needless to say. But it's amazing to see how much people have gained in equity in their homes. But I would say that's a very important step, is to have somebody do a market analysis for you and what's called a net proceeds sheet, so that you can see the value of your home. And then the net proceeds sheet shows you how much you would net at the end of selling your home. So how much you'd actually physically walk away with. So then you can kind of make some decisions based off of, you know, how much would I really make off of selling this home in order to make my next move.
And again, kind of rooting that based in reality versus just like, well, it's a hot market, I'm sure I would do great.
My gosh. And I can't tell you how many people, it still takes work to sell. It still takes work. I pay for my clients pre-listing inspection, where we get their house inspected before it goes on the market, because inspections can kill deals depending on what comes up. And I pay for staging and cleaning. And those are all services that I offer to my clients, because I want it to go as smooth for them as possible. So
Let's, we have a video on staging that I would like to show because I think it was quite
This is
entertaining.
okay, but what if I went like this?
look at that.
So tell me, like in that example, what does that do for getting a better offer when you have staged your home?
Yeah. So actually in that video, I went on to say these are the 10 reasons why to stage your home. And some of those reasons are buyers actually are able to envision themselves living there. It's hard to envision yourself living in an empty room, right? Where are you going to put your furniture? Or even what is the purpose of this room? Is this an office? Is this a bedroom? What is the square footage really like? Because it looks really small. But once you put a queen bed in there, you might be able to get a visual for oh, the bed fits fine. Oh, a couple dressers fit fine. But then also it actually, the first impression is everything. So the stager that I work with, she works so hard to help me set a first impression so that when people come to the house, they don't automatically decide that it's not the house for them just based off of, outdated fixtures or that kind of stuff. They kind of can see the whole picture. And it allows them to kind of make a decision based off of a house that's actually shown in its full potential.
And can you stage a home that is still currently being lived in?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's one of my favorite things to do. So I work with a stager who will she'll walk through the house with me and she will help coach the clients on what things to kind of pack up, what things to leave out, and how to organize things so that it's the most appealing to the buyer's eyes. And then it's really great because then I get to keep that rapport with the client. I'm not the one telling them like, put away your, this or your doll collection.
Aubrey didn't come in and say
or whatever.
Like this.
Exactly. So it makes a huge difference. And then they have a list to go off of and they're already half packed for selling their house at that point. Sometimes more than half packed. And it makes things go so much smoother. And it's a little bit of seller torture in the beginning to make for an incredibly smooth, month up until closing. So
and that differential in pricing, it's such a hot market. I know I already said that, but like, have you seen it really make the offer go up then?
Oh yeah. It makes a big difference. And I think that not only does it make a big difference I saw a statistic the other day that said like 6% higher than list price, but I actually just saw somebody who listed a house and they sold it for $40,000. They was listed, came off the market, and then was listed again by a different agent who does what I do, stage, clean, pre-listing inspection, and ended up selling for $40,000 more than the other offer that she had gotten on it. I mean, those numbers do not lie. Like it makes a huge difference. And so, and I think that it makes, your photos are everything. Yeah. That's what people are looking at. And so if the photos are crappy, then most likely it's going to be really hard to get a bunch of showings and a bunch of offers. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me on air. Thank you to all of North Central Washington for tuning in here on Networked. We'll see you again next week.
Since 1999, NCW Tech Alliance has served as our regional hub for technology innovation. As a 501c3, their nonprofit mission is to connect people and technology resources to create a thriving community. You can network with the team and guests from today's show by visiting them at www.ncwtech.org.